Hey guys, good afternoon. It's noon, 12:01. Sorry, I'm starting a little late. 12:01, November the 22nd, 2024. Happy Friday. It is the Friday before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all you people that still celebrate Thanksgiving. I've asked Chris Inks to come into the room. Maybe he's going to get the message and go over a few charts. Um, I would ask you guys to let your audience know, let your peeps know, let your uncles and aunts. We talk about reposting and doing all this stuff. One thing I would encourage you guys to do is I am really trying to make this a safe place for everyone, like financial people, old people, young people, super rich people, super poor people. I don't really care. I think we're finding that as this administration comes in office, I'm seeing more and more people come out of the woodwork, more and more people communicate, more and more people wanting to be included. And I think that's really, really awesome. And as long as people are doing that, I am going to encourage people to do that. And I'm going to create a platform and continue to provide a platform for people to join and have a place where we can communicate logically and have an opportunity to have an education and like debates without making each other wrong. I just want to do well. See, I don't really care about being right. I care about doing well. I would rather somebody else come up with a great idea and I grab onto that. It does not have to be my idea for me to benefit from it. I'm searching for the greatest idea. And if somebody can show me a deal that looks like ABC and it's better than BTC, bring it, man. Uh, if I see that MicroStrategy is doing something that supercharges Bitcoin, I want to look at it, dude. Like I want to look at anything that's going to help the Bitcoin community. Just like I looked at, okay, I've never done politics, but this would be the year. Literally January of last year, I started giving money to politicians and either interviewing them or trying to set up meetings to meet them, see what they were standing for. And today we have, like, I was laughed at for that. I was laughed at for giving 12 Bitcoin to Trump. And for me, I don't just come into an industry and invest in it. I'm going to get involved in the regulatory stuff. I'm going to get involved in the political, anything I can get involved with to help facilitate progress beyond just buying Bitcoin. Or if, let's say, you wanted to be an energy player, I mean, I want to get in at every level so I can better understand it. When I see financial industry, from Citibank to Alliance to every pension player, every fund, every convertible bond player is stacking up in Miami, near North Beach, is stacking up to have meetings and give money to a gentleman in the terms of $500 million to $2 billion at zero cost of capital. That is something I have to study, okay? Because in my opinion, and everyone's making a big deal of this, the net asset value, that's called NAV, the net asset value of, I see Jason in the room. Jason, thank you for being backstage. I'm going to do this for a little bit solo for a bit, and then happy to bring you up here in a little bit. So if I don't pay any attention to you, it's not because I'm ignoring you. And for all of you guys, okay, sometimes I don't even see you in the room, so don't be offended. So where was I? So for me, this whole debate, it's very interesting how stirred up this community has gotten over this MicroStrategy trade. I was just talking to a trader uh, about the volatility that MicroStrategy is experiencing, and that is, in fact, the piece that the convertible players like, because they can trade their optionality and their imputed. I mean, for instance, the Alliance trade, if I read this correctly, maybe I can bring this up, but if I read this correctly, the Alliance trade is At zero is imputing an intrinsic value for MicroStrategy of $672 a share. Right now, MicroStrategy is trading. Interesting to me that they spent so much time yesterday. By the way, we're at 99,000 right this second. This market wanted to sell down to 97 today. Didn't do that very well. Let's see if I can just bring up this charter Rooney. I'm not so good at this, but you guys can be patient with me. A lot of people doing videos today, huh? A lot of people doing broadcast, and not sure how many people in the room. A couple hundred people, maybe. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. I will not be perfect. I will make mistakes. I will be flaky sometimes, and maybe get upset with people or be late, whatever. Have problems with doing this, but I'm here to try to help. Don't ask anybody for anything. I'm trying to build a community. I think the greatest value, besides getting extremely wealthy, I am going to get so stupidly rich from this trade. It's really crazy. And for me, all I'm doing is sharing my journey with you. Really, I'm not giving you advice. I'm a bit of a crazy guy. My brother thinks I'm just a total like a degen. Everyone that has all these prognostications about me, I think you guys are making, basically, I think you're racist, because I think you're hearing me and other people say things without qualifying what it is they're saying. And until you go through these numbers, the most interesting thing for me is no one is going through the numbers and asking themselves, who is getting hurt here? This is a very different construct. I'm telling you, okay? There are more people benefiting from this construct than are being hurt. The only person being hurt by this MicroStrategy position, let me pull up that chart, in my opinion, is the person that's not long Bitcoin. I mean, literally, I think we're down to the only person getting hurt by this trade right here. Everyone's been complaining about this big wick here. This stock was trading at $541, puts it over $105 billion market cap. For some relevance, I'm investing in the digital future of the 21st century. L'Oreal, the company that makes makeup, global company, I think they got 88,000 people, trades at 185 billion. Like I'll take MicroStrategy and sell L'Oreal. Now, what's my time frame? It is not 15 years. I would most certainly not invest in L'Oreal, a pure commodity play, for 15 years. But for 4 years, when was the last time anyone lost any money holding Bitcoin for 4 years? If MicroStrategy emulates Bitcoin on steroids, who's going to lose money for 4 years on MicroStrategy? Look, I'm not telling you to buy MicroStrategy, okay? All I'm saying is that not to understand what is happening here is a vital error. It would be like not looking at the ETFs, okay? It would be like, oh, we don't care about the flows on the ETF. We don't even care about the quality of the players coming in on the ETFs. I think you most certainly do care. If you're seeing every pension fund, CalPERS, walking in with $8 billion and buying Bitcoin, that is a very different buyer than Gary Cardone buying Bitcoin. Okay, I'm nobody compared to CalPERS. If you see state game theory going on, my theory is that every energy long state who receives royalties will most certainly put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. It is illogical not to, since they already have royalties on their balance sheet in the terms of natural gas, crude oil, and liquids, condensates, the whole thing. What are those states? Those states are long energy. They are Pennsylvania. Oh, wow. I guess they voted for Trump. That was a no-brainer. Of course, they're going to vote for Trump. They're nat gas, crude oil, and liquids long. Drill, baby, drill. Remember that one? Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Montana, Dakota, Wyoming, and did I say Oklahoma? Though maybe Ohio. All those states put Bitcoin on the treasury because they're long crude oil royalties. We have the United States government has initiated minimally a bill that has every piece of how we pay for it, who does what, where it sits. No one else has a bill like that. We are building a whole group of people to look at digital assets across every division of our country and what the impact is. You have the Gary Gensler getting thrown out on his ass. Lena Khan's getting shown the door. Two draconian fascist communist regulators who did more to stop business and allow bad businesses to proliferate, like Sam Bankman-Fried, who most certainly had help from these people, introductions and the like. Nobody's ever given me from the United States government, ever introduced me to any of these firms or helped me with funding. Never seen a guy in 3 years do so much positive and so much damage. He most certainly had help. Nobody at the age of 27 builds a Ponzi scheme like that without help. He could get in to see every person on the planet, every investor, and every prime minister, every politician. Come on. Are you guys crazy? I've been working my whole life. I've never had any problems, no lawsuits. I'm clean as a whistle. It takes me forever to get these meetings. And you look pretty goofy to boot. So if you're not going to look at this strategy and you're going to poo-poo on it, for me and my audience, I'm very interested in people understanding what is driving this. Where are all the supply constraints? Where is the demand for this product? What are these people that are interested that seem to be like stacking up a mile deep to meet Mr. Saylor and to get on this program? There are 100 firms right now that have filed with the SEC, I guess NASDAQ also, and some of the S&P, if they're in the S&P. 100 companies are following up a strategy to emulate what MicroStrategy is doing. 100 companies. So we got a treasury bill, we got a FASB rule, we got MicroStrategy going into the NASDAQ 100 most likely by January. The FASB rules will take place in January or February. That marks him up. He's never been able to remark his books whatsoever. He's at $95 billion market cap. Rio Tinto, a multiple poly commodities resource player, Australian or New Zealand, I think it's Australian, $100 billion company. You want to own Rio Tinto or MicroStrategy? You want to own a company that's got 250,000 Bitcoin and a refining machine to basically take any capital that's making 2% and turn it into 25? Or do you want a shareholder base that wants a little bit of copper, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, geopolitical risk, interest rate risk, capital costs, margin costs? You guys are comparing Rio Tinto dilution with MicroStrategy dilution. These are totally different things. I love the dilution that happens on the share value because I get it back in Bitcoin plus a premium. I'm really okay with, look, I have two theories, okay? Two theories on the core of any business is capital. The idea, what you're selling, what you have, your genius, I don't give a fuck. I got to just be rude about it. Cost of capital is the most important thing. If I can borrow $1 billion, a trillion for 1 day, for 10 days, for 10 million days at zero cost of capital, and you make money when my stock's trading at $400, you make money selling $700 call options that I would never have done, bro, let's roll. Let's do this, okay? I mean, I had an idea last night presented to me on my artwork that makes sense here. Okay. Like, I mean, I have a business. Okay. I have a business that doesn't make any revenue because I never sell anything, but I have 500 paintings back there. Whether they're good or not, it's a totally different question, but there's 7 billion people on the planet. If I offered my artwork out and said, look, you buy my artwork at 50 grand, I'll buy, and I'll guarantee you that the price of that art in 2 or 3 years is never less than, say, 50 grand plus a 8% incremental growth every year. So that art's, let's say I sell a piece of art for 100 grand. I guarantee you that in 3 years, that art is at least worth 8% more each year. That would be 124,000. That's an interesting way to get my my artwork out, and then I take the proceeds from that and I invest it in Bitcoin. I wouldn't have thought that. Okay. And then it made me figure out the reason I haven't had any interest in selling my art. One, my artwork is very, very different kind of energy use. Not to be like, get back into the MicroStrategy or the Bitcoin thing, but my energy to paint and create things, I don't want to mix it up with my commercial brain. They are really, really almost, they live in different compartments. I mean, they don't really anymore because I'm really creative commercially, but they're not the same things. I don't want to think about money when I'm doing something artistic. Money is just a thing. It's a number. It's really just nothing. It doesn't weigh anything. It's just a measuring stick. And I think most people are having a very difficult time measuring one thing against another, thinking they're measuring equities against MicroStrategy. But this is like uranium on steroids. And look, I know I'm bullish on this. Okay, I know it sounds like I'm a little like, whoa. I mean, I'm bullish enough on Bitcoin. I did not see the refining piece on this trade show up. I think this is a synthetic miner, and what Mr. Saylor, what I call him, Lord Saylor of Bitcoin. Most certainly, if he was in England, he would be a Lord right now, dude. They would already give him an OBE. Lord Saylor of Bitcoin. Sir, I hope you find that complimentary. It is meant totally to be both humorous and meaningfully impactful and valuing what you have done. I could actually elevate it probably to king, but that's a little over the top for Americans. So look, this is where I'm at. Okay, ExxonMobil, Shell Oil Company, Saudi Aramco, biggest energy company in the world, $3 trillion, by the way. Well, if Aramco is a massive refining hub for Middle Eastern fossil fuel liquids, gasolines, jet fuel, natural gas, crude oil, all the derivatives associated with that. By the way, none of these sovereigns are selling 100% of their energy. Not one company in the world is capable of taking all of the energy they have today and monetizing it today. Not one. Okay. So there's always some units of energy that are sitting back doing nothing. That all seeks out Bitcoin monetization. Why? Because you can't monetize an energy field in the depths of Russia when you blew up 2 pipelines to Europe. It has nowhere to go. It's just sitting there. It's literally losing dollar value every day. If you don't sell a unit of energy today, it is assumed by accounting principles that you're waiting to sell it for 8 to 10 years in the future. what's the time value of a US dollar on a barrel of oil in 10 years? Or a natural gas molecule at $3. If you could sell a natural gas molecule in a market today at $3, would you, but you can only sell 70% of it. Would you be better off financially selling all 100 units, 70 of them at $3, and then the other 30 units at $2.70, knowing that the cost of capital is somewhere between 6 and 10%? And over 8 years to 10 years, when you finally get those units of energy out, those other 30 units, that $2.70 you could get today has been degraded over 8 years by 8%. And I think if you do the math, it's about worth $1.70 today's terms. So why wouldn't a producer take $2.70 in a $3 market when he's only selling 70% of his production? What? You don't think that 30 units of energy isn't going to seek out Bitcoin? Come on, man. Like, it's getting zero. They are not moving 30 units, and it's probably worse than that. I think there's 23% of the energy behind the pipe is literally not going anywhere. And then there's another like 23% that once it hits the pipe, there's so much leakage and friction. So somewhere around 40 and 50% leakage in the entire fossil fuel construct. I think we have energy here for most certainly my lifetime. And I do not believe this. Hey, nat gas is going from $3 to $6. Dude, at $3, they're going to drill the fuck out of it. They're making a good margin. At $6, they're going to drill the F out of it on steroids. Okay, like they will go nuts. At $85, what's crude oil right now? 85? I'm stunned the crude's 85. Gold is not outperforming oil. I'm saying that right off the top of my head because I haven't looked at oil in a bit, but let me just go look at this. What is oil trading at? Do I have, let's see, 99,400. We see $100,000 today, guys. Today's the day. It's November the 22nd, 2024. I am saying that before 8 p.m. on Friday night, in fact, I think before the close of the markets at 4:30, we will see $100,000. If I didn't have 1,000 meetings scheduled between now and then, I would probably just keep this room wide open and invite a bunch of people here. In fact, I will do that. If it hadn't hit 100 after 4:30, I'll open a room up and I'll stay open all weekend outside of my church thing on Wednesdays. I'll stay open all weekend until we hit 100. Most certainly, we're going to do that pretty soon here. Let me get out of this single view. Sorry for the having the screen up the whole time. Guys, I know I'm bullish. I'm up significantly. I have not curtailed or lightened my load here any. I don't do that when I'm in a trade that's winning. I appreciate people that bought in at 5,000, maybe even 50,000. 74 on Brent. Thanks, Fibo Swami. Thanks for being here. 74. I think that means the Brent crude market is what? Maybe 83. Dude, these prices too high. Okay, $45 is the break-even cost for a barrel of oil in the United States. 65 max is the break-even on Middle Eastern crude. So I don't get it. Like you're literally making a 20 to 20% margin on a pure now science. This is science. You haven't heard of about a dry hole. When was the last time you heard a dry hole? When you don't drill dry holes anymore, there's no risk, zero risk. Guess what? Your margin goes down. It's just not complicated, okay? Prices don't continue to go up when you have no risk of finding this stuff. The risk of being able to mine Bitcoin, we know is going up. Now, I agree with Saylor, okay? I think the halving now is not really that relevant. It's just not. Most certainly, the next cycle, I think these cycles become useless. I don't think they're meaningful. I think now what takes over is the staggering amount of money seeking out Bitcoin and Bitcoin derivatives and Bitcoin anything related to Bitcoin. The token market is going to be destroyed. I'm pointing here because I've got a chart up. The token market is going to be destroyed by this. You're going to see all these swing traders move over to the MicroStrategy trade. There's massive numbers of tools to buy. In fact, I'm going to build the case, and I love my ETF guys. Okay, like I love the guys at iBit. I like the guys at Bitwise. I mean, I love I like all these guys. They've done a remarkable job. Fidelity, the Bloomberg guys, BlackRock, Van Eck, ARK. You guys have done an awesome job of creating ETF wrappers or ETF vehicle for Joe Schmo, Joe Corporate. I'm looking at this now going, now, if I were in the ETFs or I had new money to allocate, which is my case, would I buy MicroStrategy or would I buy the ETF? I'm having a bit of a challenge of understanding why I would buy the ETF when the MicroStrategy trade offers me something very, very, very unique. And it's outperforming everything. It's outperforming Bitcoin. It's most certainly outperforming the ETFs. And I will build a case that it had the way it's shaped, the product itself, the amount of players that can enter this trade is greater than the ETFs. There's people that can't own the ETF that want to have action in this space. They want to have exposure to the space. There are people that can't buy Bitcoin. There are people that can't buy options. And they're looking at MicroStrategy as a surrogate, a lookalike that emulates or even in fact supercharges the emulation or the image, the copy, the mirroring of the performance. Got into a bit of an argument this morning with someone. I thought they were very, I've never said that any coin was superior to any other coin. I think if you could buy XRP at the right price, cool, it might be a good trade. I don't care what people do. I believe in maximize your adventures in life and everything else comes secondary. The cool thing for me is I'm able to maximize my profitability, minimize my energy, maximize my joy and entertainment and the intellectual wealth and richness of this industry has made me a smarter person and a better person. I most certainly understand the markets better than I've ever understood them. Because I looked at Bitcoin with a different, I've never been able to look at, oh, wow, what if you have another market out here that's unique and different? And then you see this thing grow over 15 years. I was going to say just 3 or 4 because I've been extremely critical of the marketing and promotion of this product, this industry. And the reason I'm really, really, really critical is the point I'm trying to make is, wow, we got to $1.3 trillion market cap with a marketing program that was designed to keep people out. I mean, really, one of the reasons my brother's not here is that some of the stuff he's heard, it baffles his brain that he would put $50 to $300 million into this industry because he's like, I've heard some crazy shit. Now, what you have to do is you have to be able to go through all that noise and go, okay, Michael Saylor, CFO. I like these guys. That's data points. Hey, I like this guy. I listen to Van Eck. I listen to Larry Fink. I go do some homework. I do analysis. I get some people that are doing analytics on cash flows and analytics on the bonds. And hey, how am I wrong? See, that's the cool thing with me being so bullishly inquisitive. I'm literally sitting here, and don't misunderstand me, okay? I actually have a very small allocation to MicroStrategy. I think this morning this guy rigged up all over me. He thinks I'm like, moving all my Bitcoin into this strategy. I have a lot of Bitcoin already. I am talking about a piece over here. I have miners, I have ETFs, and I have MicroStrategy, and I have Bitcoin. Do I buy more Bitcoin? I could, but I have some miners that are poorly performing against Bitcoin and massively performing poorly against MicroStrategy. And my allocation is 6 units of my miners to 2 units of MicroStrategy, maybe 3 because I've got some options. The amount of money I've made on those 2 units in the last 22 days is pretty impressive. So I'm not into picking membership clubs and funny, oh wow, I want to join the pink t-shirt club or the sweater club. Like, this is a money game. This isn't about, hey, I'm going to stay in this trade forever and one day I'll be right. This is a money trade, man. Investing is a money business. Okay. I could just sit back and do nothing here. I could just smash it in Bitcoin. But when you have, let's say you have, and let's think in units, okay? That's the way you should think when you're trading. Let's suggest that I have 500 units of Bitcoin and I have 2 units of MicroStrategy. Is that stupid? Or I would actually suggest to you that 500 units of Bitcoin and maybe 10 units of miners and 2 units of MicroStrategy, I could build the case that I have too much Bitcoin and not enough of the alpha. For me, my life, my lifestyle, my affordability. See, everybody's going to tell you a guy my age should be ultra conservative. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, okay? I'm an expert at what I do. I'm not going to dilute any expertise. Why would I dilute my expertise, man? And bet it on something that, 1, I don't know as well, and 2, that offers me downside protection? Okay. But if I'm truly convicted on a strategy in a business and I can't punch holes into it, why do I constantly think about my hedge? What if I'm already hedged? See, my hedge is the whole thing can go to shit. And I'll have a bad month, a bad year. I'll be disappointed and upset, but I'm still going to have my house. I'm still going to have my car. I'm still going to have my children, my lifestyle, my retirement plan. If I lose $300, $400, $500 million, I've still got enough to be okay. And if I make 3 or 4 billion or 600 million or 800 million, how impactful could I be to this planet? Are we starting to finally recognize that money, when it's used for power, like for true energy, and it had a good intention, it had a desire to shift the political scene, the power scene. I hear you guys talking about going to your deathbed with Bitcoin. I'm like, dude, I make a shitload of money in this industry. I'll monetize it and reinvest it in America, reinvest it in the world, reinvest it in people, reinvest it in Bitcoin, reinvest it in the Bitcoin industry. If AI is the hot thing, then I'll invest it in that space and I will help the world become a better place. And I'll also be in a position to fight these bad people, man. Like, if you dig Bill Gates, buy some of his stock or get on his foundation, man, support him. But if you don't, I would encourage you to invest in areas that people that are doing things that are consistent with your philosophy, consistent with your fiscal concepts, freedom concepts, whatever you believe in. That's where I put all my energy. Okay. I put my energy into where the juice is. And the juice for me is greater power, greater freedom, greater flexibility. What is freedom? I should just start calling this room. Hey, freedom is not free. Freedom is not free. Freedom most certainly is not free. I know it's been cheap for the last 40 years. We almost got it all taken from us 20 days ago. 20 days ago, we almost had our voice. You almost had, look, if you there's 3 people you listen to on X and you get any kind of value, you were getting ready to lose those people. And I am so grateful for people like myself and Simon Dixon and many, many others. My brother, I like that my brother's got a lot of money. He sticks his neck out and has always done that. I don't know what the deal is with the 2 Cardones. I got 2 Cardone members that, they keep their head under the pulpit. And then you got me and Grant, who came from totally different industries, and we're just, I say it's loud. We're loudmouths, but the truth is, that's my little probably white trash shame robot sitting on my shoulder, making little of it. We just never put up with this. Get in line and do as everyone else does. It's just not been I've always been like it. Anybody that knows me, I've been I don't think so. I'm going to fight the crowd. I just think the crowd's usually wrong. Which if the crowd is usually wrong, you do have to look at this MicroStrategy and go, hey, there's a lot of people coming this trade. And I will go in with that skepticism. I'll go into it and go, okay, let me rerun the numbers. Let me run the math. Is this another Enron? I heard this being talked about, Bernie Madoff. This is not Bernie Madoff, dude. Bernie Madoff didn't buy any stock. He just took your money and then paid other people and kept the margin. We can see that the guy has 400 or 250,000 Bitcoin on his balance sheet. He's not holding it back. He is literally telling us what he's doing. Bernie, Enron, and many of the Fortune 500, 400, 300, 150, 10s, most, if not all. I see some people from traditional finance in this room. Most certainly, most all of their earnings have been manufactured, rigged, artificially inflated, twisted, leveraged, torqued in a way that you can't even understand the dilution, the earnings per share, what the incentives of the CEO and the top management team are, why they always buy their own stock. You're telling me a company the size of Visa or Monster Refining Company or Google, the only thing they can do, the best deal they can do with $1 billion or $10 billion is to buy their own stock. This is fucking bizarre to me, okay? Like, you're telling me that with $1 billion sitting on your reserve, any of you companies, okay? Dell Computer, I don't care who you are. See, this is what bugs me about these conversations, because people are so they pick and choose the conflation of the conversation they have. They talk about MicroStrategy and an ETF, and they're like, I buy the ETF. It's like, why? What's it do for you? What's it do for you that MicroStrategy doesn't do in volume and radically supports so many of the principles of Bitcoin? It's most certainly bringing in volume that was not going into Bitcoin. And I think we're early. I think there might be a long line of people, and supply and demand is most certainly shot up, meaning there's more supply to offer zero and to get the back end of the volatility than there is in people just buying the stock or buying the ETF. You can't do this with the ETF. And there's so many things you can't do with the ETF relative to this trade. So I would just encourage people to, and I'll be around this weekend, next week. I've been asking people for 2+ years, economic geniuses, fiscal engineers, government employees, Citibank bond traders, Milton Friedman, any economists, Greenberg, Powell, Nancy Pelosi, anyone is welcome to come on here and just let me know what is wrong with my construct on Bitcoin and what is wrong with this Henry Hub, Brent crude, hub refining center that's basically turning fiat into Bitcoin and then turning Bitcoin into a slew of derivatives that the financial world can consume, repackage, make a healthier margin than they were making, and it gives them access to this industry in a much more streamlined manner that basically is pulling in massive amounts of money and interest into crypto that was not expected. Dude, this is a gateway drug. The MicroStrategy piece, once they're like, imagine XYZ monster bank can't buy Bitcoin. They cannot buy commodities. They look at this thing and go, wow, we can get involved in the lending protocol, the convertible note business. Sendo Bob over there, he runs the division, and we get all this volatility. Our margins go up. By the way, it's Q4, okay? I don't know any banks that don't want to make more money and get their earnings up. One last thing on MicroStrategy. When there's this much money to be made, most certainly Wall Street will stick their nose so deep into this thing. Okay, they will do anything for the spread between 2% and 30%. These are staggering numbers. I mean, I can go sell. Let's say I wanted to buy MicroStrategy, but I don't want to buy it at 500. I can sell a put right now, 2 years. For 2 years, someone would pay me $230 to protect a $500 position. Now, MicroStrategy is not trading at 500. MicroStrategy is trading at while Bitcoin's trading at 99.80, MicroStrategy is trading at 441, which is about 111 billion, 105 billion. Let's see, what's the market cap? Market cap. Market cap is 105, 110. I can't see this here. I don't know why. What's scaring everyone is MicroStrategy is up 793% for 1 year. Year to date from January is 500%. In 1 week, it's up 31%, and people are complaining that it was down 16 yesterday. It was down 16 after a 45% increase in 1 week. 1 month is 105%, including the 16% drop yesterday. And 3 months is 221%. Get in front of this train, man. See, I'm getting on the train. I don't have any interest in fighting this train. This train, I cannot talk myself into anything that gives me the nilly willies on this trade. I really don't. Not on Bitcoin and not on MicroStrategy. What I am challenged with is making sense of the miners and making sense of the ETFs now that this MicroStrategy trades here. This is such a liquid trade. So this is the question at 95 to 110 billion dollars in market cap, which is the size of Rio Tinto. It's about 1/6 of the size of Visa. Visa, MicroStrategy. What does Visa have? They have a bunch of plastic month-to-month contracts with a bunch of broke people. That's what they have. And then they just make money on their hub. Okay, hey, this is great. What does Visa actually have on their balance sheet? What assets do they have other than their position in the financial system? They're at the center of the hub and they get a piece for everything. What the hell do you think MicroStrategy is? You know the difference? MicroStrategy has no anti-competitive, no DOJ exposure, no monopoly exposure. And I would suggest that Visa, MasterCard are the most complex duopoly, organized construct that is harming Joe consumer and harming retailers, killing retailers, okay? And you're raping Joe consumer. You're teaching consumers to consume stuff at any cost. It's irresponsible. Visa, MasterCard have all these programs, education, let me help this school. Dude, why do you guys keep letting people buy stuff they can't afford? Like, it's bullshit with you. Oh, brand, I have a great brand. You don't have a good brand, dude. You're a parasite on these poor people. Like you shouldn't have a construct where human beings are literally given little rewards for buying stuff they can't afford. Let me give you some points, man. Hey, go into debt. Here's 3 million miles. It's ridiculous, okay? Free cheese in every bloody rat trap. So this is the question, right? Would you buy MicroStrategy at $40 billion? $40 billion. It's at 90 or 100 right now. Would you buy it at half value? Because I can sell someone a $500 put right now, if you know what I'm talking about. Which, by the way, okay, this now opens up the whole planet for, like, this is going to increase a shitload of Bitcoin. Excuse my language, but it's just, you have to like be excited about it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like, I'm not saying I'm perfectly right, okay? I've never been right about anything forever or often. What I'm asking people to do is please pop up here or any show I'm doing and honestly and without emotion debate why this is a bad trade, because I'm really struggling not to, like, I'm extremely disciplined. I do not bounce in. It's probably cost me a lot of money being disciplined like this, although I don't sound disciplined. I am very disciplined. And the bigger the numbers, I mean, it makes you disciplined, right? You don't want to make a big mistake. But I'm really struggling with how this isn't. I mean, there's Caroline's in that she's worked for MasterCard before. What, you're telling me MasterCard doesn't have a refining center? How much value is their $300 billion market cap? They make, I think, 41% gross operating profit. Visa makes 51. The business is 50 years old. They do plastic cards, man. Like, the world is not going to stop without plastic credit cards. The world without energy will stop. Okay, go ask the Germans how they feel about having the most expensive energy on the planet. Yes, Phil, we do crack 100,000 today. I think we go to 102 and then we come back and play around in the 90s and sit here and maybe even the 80s freak a bunch of people out. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a 102 print, 120 print, and then 40%. Just smash people down to 80 to 70. Oh my God, that would be so awesome. Again, if you do not understand the phrase, volatility is the asset here. The volatility of Bitcoin is actually the play here. And most people have been taught incorrectly by your economic teachers, by your marketing teachers, by your teachers, by your dads, your moms, your sisters. 90% of the people here do not understand that volatility is actually a blessing. And y'all have been taught to shy away from it. It's terrifying. It's scary. No, it's actually the play. The other thing that people have been completely abused on, I look a little bit rude today, is this diversity play. Diversification comes with a lack of confidence on a play. All the money I've ever made in my life, I retired at the age of 42 years old because I was massively consolidated. I don't really even know how they justify this diversification play. If you have a financial advisor or you have someone in your family that's been giving you financial advice, then we're going to pop through these comments. If you have someone giving you financial advice, one thing is check their balance sheet. If they don't have more money than you, they're not more successful and happy than you are, probably wouldn't listen to them for 1 second. If they're your parents, I wouldn't listen to them unless they're a financial genius. And even then, you probably still want somebody else because your parents are so close to you. They can't give you proper advice, unbiased. But you let me know how many people have become free. Oh, what's rich and wealthy? We have to define these things. Rich for me, wealthy for me, and freedom, they're all the same definition. I can say yes to anything, and I can say no to anything that I want to do, or that I want to be. If I want to buy a plane ticket and sit on the plane by myself, I would like to be able to do that. I think that's cool. If I want to be able to buy a house or a company, I want to be able to do that. And I would like to be able to have all those assets and also be able to be honest and speak my mind and my truth. Freedom is not free, and true freedom is the ability to say fuck off to anybody, and also to embrace any opportunity, any adventure. I know no one on this planet that has ever paid too much for an awesome experience. We should start looking at our lives, in my opinion. As I get older, I only look for, hey, where's the value at? I don't care how much it costs. Where's the value? Where's that unique thing that makes me smile, laugh, have fun, learn something, become better? I've never had any of these discussions in any of the businesses I've ever been in since I was 21. And I find myself talking about, one, I have met thousands of people now. I know everyone in crypto. I mean, I have not met Mike Novogratz yet. I have not met, there's 2 or 3 people I just have not been able to meet. Probably my bad. Okay, I haven't tried hard enough. Maybe. I mean, I have tried. I want to meet all these guys. Okay? But in 4 years, I've met 90% of everybody that's relevant in this business. And I got to tell you, okay, last 2 days I was in Dallas. The amount of people coming in this space is staggering. Like it is nonstop now. 2 of the largest energy volatility traders in the world are sitting in a Dallas show yesterday talking about Bitcoin. People are trading spark spreads, power spreads, and Bitcoin today. This is what is so exciting about this. I don't think anybody knows. See, we get in this little echo chamber around Bitcoin. There's a lot going on that's related to Bitcoin. I could bring some payment people up here. They'd shock you, okay? I mean, about the money that's being invested from banks, payment companies, research, and nobody's really talking. They're not. MasterCard and Visa do not advertise, hey, we're building the biggest blockchain Bitcoin tokenization program on planet Earth. Watch us, come attack us. They ain't going to tell you what they're doing, man. Super cycle, an M&A super cycle is going to happen in Bitcoin. There's going to be a lot of broken companies, a lot of bullshit businesses, but I'm telling you, we're going to look back. I guarantee you, in 4 years, I will have friends where I can literally ping their phone. First off, I have friends that are like now in high office, like seriously high office. I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana, man, refining town. I grew up in a lake that most certainly had, 3 parts per million of diesel fuel in it, and carcinogens, probably 30% carcinogens in the water, alligators and snakes. You want to learn how to ski in a boat on a lake? You learn when there's alligators and petrol in the water. You don't fall. the players that are coming into Bitcoin right now, they're all coming in here chasing something they don't have, and they're finding it. Imagine somebody with billions and billions of dollars that's looking for volatility to trade. You know, they make commissions based on how much money they can swing around in a market and grab pieces of it. Imagine if they found the holy grail of trading in a commodity that doesn't stop. It's 24/7. Okay. I mean, just go chat GBT. How many commodity traders are there on the planet? How much money is traded every day around commodities? You'll absolutely be staggered. Okay. Let's see if I can actually pull that up. But all of those players, let's see, total commodity daily trade. All of these people that are trading this stuff for the last 40 years, they are going to be getting alerts. Bitcoin, 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 MicroStrategy. Look at this, right? These margins are fat. They're going to be sitting there going, dude, I'm working my ass off. I traded $2 billion to make 20 million bucks. My P&L sucks. All my buddies over here trading Bitcoin are making $30 million, $3 million bonuses. And I get 30 grand because my business sucks. There's no margin. It's not gappy. It's not exciting. It's just, there's no margin in, but in exciting, there's lots of shit going on. The overall market size of the commodities market, everybody take a guess. I did not know the number and may not even be right because I ran it through Chat GBT4. Nominal value of commodities market is projected to reach $121 trillion in 2024, an annual growth rate endemic 2.45, below GDP growth. 136 trillion in size by 2029. Gold is 259 billion. And daily trading volumes of that 120 trillion marketplace. Okay, so monster market. Energy commodities market is 246 million futures and options contract were traded on the ICE exchange in 2022. Let me just repeat that again. 247 million futures and options contracts. That is literally that's over a million options contract traded every day the market's open. Bitcoin is a derivative of energy, a derivative of financial systems exploiting the US dollar and every other currency, and I believe that it's making its way through the asset classes one by one. You would never have told me that 3 years ago that NVIDIA is going to be worth $3.5 trillion, $3.2 trillion. They have antitrust issues, DOJ issues, mark-to-market issues, accounting issues, human error issues. They have 82% market share with a monster fat margin that only goes down. Their volume of production goes. I mean, they cannot access a higher ratio of the market. It only goes down, and their margins at such high percentages, I think, can only go down. Great company. I'm not saying it's not a great company, but it's worth $3 trillion. It has none of the super engineering financial services opportunities that MicroStrategy has. MicroStrategy is less than $1 trillion. Rio Tinto is worth $100 billion. That's what MicroStrategy is worth today. And if you just start comparing, wow, NVIDIA, MicroStrategy, Rio Tinto, MicroStrategy, L'Oreal, a cosmetics maker. I literally had somebody say they would buy L'Oreal over MicroStrategy. Okay. I mean, talk about a commodity that you can just keep making forever and ever. Powder, cosmetic powders. Oh, okay, let's add 10 cents to the price and we'll make 10 jillion units more. Sailor doesn't have any of the complexities of logistics, doesn't have to buy energy, doesn't have to buy machines, doesn't have to enter into PPA contracts, doesn't have any employees, added $30 billion worth of value without adding any employees, has finance and bankers stacking up at his home to give money, not even having to travel. And this stuff about Microsoft, who cares about Microsoft? I don't care about Microsoft. I care about the 100 companies that are emulating this program. It would be great if Microsoft did this. I don't care, though. You get 100 companies buying 1,200 Bitcoin a year, in addition to what MicroStrategy is doing, there will be 1,000 companies doing it in 6 months, because the money to be made and the time that they can make it, it is right now. I mean, some of these companies are going to be salvaged. Every one of these companies are literally finding it difficult to make progress in a world where all the dollars are just, everything has slippage now. Everything has slippage. Everything has friction. Okay, well, we're about an hour into this. I just yak. Hopefully that has been helpful. I got my man Jason in here. I'm going to bring Jason up right after I read a few comments, because if I bring him up and we get into something really juicy, I'm going to forget. I would like to say thank you to all the people in here, 2,500 people in here. Greg Anderson says, yay! Yeah, but let's see. Greg Anderson made a few comments. Gary Daly in the Dubai. How you doing, buddy? Good morning. Josh Bryant, good to see you, buddy. You're always in here. I appreciate it. AI, good to have you. Greg Anderson, good to have you. Bush Cream, GoPro Audio's in the room. Michael Lance, good to see you, buddy. The whole crypto market is the new Wall Street. I think that's an excellent way to look at it. They'll all love it, dude. Okay, they're just going to have to confront volumes are going to explode and their margins are going to get smaller. It's going to be okay. The energy markets, natural gas markets in 1980, 92 went from 12 BCF to 107. 12 BCF a day to 107 BCF a day. Best LNG market in the world. We have everything going for us here. If we get really supercharge this whole digital asset industry, which, by the way, wasn't available to us 3 weeks ago. We did not know that we were going to have an administration at multitude of levels, wide and deep, okay, from Treasury to Defense to the Office of Efficiency. Hey, they're going to look at Bitcoin. How can it help us? We need help, okay? And we do. This administration knows that we need a lifeboat. We either need a lifeboat or a super weapon. I'm in the lifeboats personally. I want to quit hurting people. I am not paying any more taxes as long as we go to war. I'm not doing it. Okay, I'll just fight with you guys. I'm not going to pay taxes as long as we continue to misuse them. I'm not going to pay taxes if you take the money to the Ukraine and we continue a war with Russia that we don't really need. We don't need, he doesn't need it, he ain't poking us. President Putin has not poked us one time. Any of you political idiots that are so propaganda fed, and you can't even get out of your own delusionary mindset, your own like totally introspection from American, like we're so narcissistic, it's disgusting. Any of you Europeans, please come on to the show and help the egotistical American, the introspective American with less than 50% of the people have passports. Nobody travels. They haven't seen the world. We are 5% of the population. We chew up 25% of the energy. Chew it up, dude. Chew it up and waste it. We 92% of all the opiates on the planet are fed to our country. We pay the most for insurance in the free world for everything and have the least health care. We have more fat, obese, disgustingly unhealthy people. I'm just going to say it like it is, dude. It's retarded how fat people are in America. And it's because we consume like we're pigs. And we want everything right this second. And I got to tell you, okay, I don't think this nation actually deserves the blessing it's been given for the next 4 years, but we can actually clean up this bloody mess. Most certainly re-lead the world, take a new leading, innovative, free approach. Let's quit poking people in the eye. I could do business with Putin all day long, man. I don't really get it. I can do business with all these people. I do not know why we have to lose. And I think one of the reasons people are having a problem with this MicroStrategy trade is they're looking for who's losing, and they can't find anybody. It baffles their mind. I'm going to suggest that Bitcoin is doing something that's people are just waking up to. And a few people have mentioned this. Jeff Booth, who I really value. In fact, I'm reading Jeff's book right now. I just smashed through half of it. This book right here, okay? If you have not read this book, The Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth, he's a lovely man, okay? He's running a fund called Ego Death. He doesn't even know I'm saying any of this. Ego Death, I think one of the best performing funds in the world. Brilliant young man, brilliant. One, you should read that. If you're into real estate, you should read that. Grant Cardone, you should read that book. You're not going to learn that book in a space. It's not part of the 25 hours, okay? You don't even know what people are saying. They're conflating so many things in some of these spaces. The price of tomorrow, I think everything goes down. Energy, cars, homes, and we turn into a market where we're using things as we use them. We're not buying them before we actually use them and then wasting them. An automobile sits in your carport 96% of the time. It's a massively ineffective use of energy. A regional bank that all these big international banks love putting $2 million little houses in your town in a strip that's got a lot of road traffic, and you notice it's the nicest house anywhere. They spend $2 or $3 million, fossil fuel bricks, pull in fiber, pull in wires, pull in people, make a driving way, pour concrete, have windows, have to secure it, have a vault, have alarm system, have lights, have people, and then you see 7 people walk in there a day and they're cashing $30 checks. Oh, they're so ESG compliant, and their carbon print is they're just such a weather climate friendly motherfucker. I mean, why are y'all building $2 million houses, dude? Regional offices that are servicing no one. I think it's baffling to me, and it's massive. All that's going to change in the future. Okay, Chris came on to talk about the charts. Jason, sorry, but I do a lot of work with Chris, so I got to give him he's helped me so much through the years. How you doing, buddy? I'd love to, if you got a few minutes, talk about these markets and the charts.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling great. I mean, why can't you? You know, MicroStrategy kind of hit the target that I was looking for, but it looks like it may have further to go. As a matter of fact, what if I threw out the idea that maybe it targets 1750 at the end of the cycle?
At the end of the cycle being when?
Whenever it ends. Probably, you know, we all expect kind of a year from now, Q4 of next year really is
2 years out, so not longer than 2.
Yeah, you know, it would be looking to make that move up there. But man, you know, if MicroStrategy hits at 1750, what does that mean for Bitcoin? All of a sudden, you know, these targets we were kind of like real iffy about, like, oh, I don't know, you know, do we hit 2.25?
That'd be a 4x. That'd be a 4x for MicroStrategy from its $400 print right this second ish, versus, and Bitcoin's at 99, so Bitcoin would do 180 based on MSTR to get to the 1750 from here. 4x on MicroStrategy, 2x on Bitcoin.
Potentially, yeah. Or, you know, it could just go all crazy at the end there, and you get blow off tops across them, and, you know, and things just really insane. I mean, let's be serious. I mean, you've been paying attention to what's happening here, right? We found out that, okay, so Sailor sold what, 3 billion convertible notes. We found out Alliance, which is that largest insurer in Germany, bought like 25%, which I think is absolutely huge because insurance companies are notoriously risk adverse. They have to be. So the fact that they're buying in there, all of a sudden, I think if you're a nation state and you've been kind of iffy about it, and even with Trump saying, "Hey, National Reserve," and you're like, maybe, and then you go, "Holy crap! A big insurance company just bought in," and it wasn't Bitcoin itself, but they bought the notes because of Bitcoin, right? Let's face it, nobody's buying MicroStrategy these days because it's core business. People are buying MicroStrategy because it's buying.
No, they are buying it because of their core business.
Well, okay, well,
The
Bitcoin
core
being,
business has massively changed.
yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if
But
you're,
hey, listen, on your point, the alliance thing, if I read this correctly, it has an imputed valuation on MicroStrategy of 672, which is half your value. No, less, a third of your value.
Yeah. Like I said, this was something I did in our training session yesterday. We had an Elliott Wave training session, and we spent an hour talking about MicroStrategy and looking at how, is this the top where we're at? How does that develop? But here's the thing. We have Bitcoin, we have IBIT and the other ETFs, we have Coinbase, we have the miners, we have MicroStrategy, and somehow all these different things have to kind of top out around the same time. So now you have to look in there and go, okay, well, here we are on this one that started more recently. How does that get, when you're using Elliott Wave, how does that get 5 waves up? What does that look like? How does that look compared with the count that we have on Bitcoin right now? How does that look with the count that we have on MicroStrategy? And all of a sudden you start looking at this, and there become these cases, which may or may not turn out to be correct. But I mean, again, we look at maybe MicroStrategy rounds up there around 1750. And is it really so hard to believe, considering how quickly things in the last month or so are escalating with Bitcoin, right? Gensler mentioned he's out the 20th. The other guy's out the 17th. He just mentioned he's out the 17th. He was voted against Bitcoin ETFs as well. And so you start looking at this, and you've been talking about game theory with nation states and now states themselves, Pennsylvania, the latest state to try and pass a reserve as well. I mean, all of a sudden you go, well, that's a massive potential push on Bitcoin that all of a sudden maybe these crazy targets aren't quite so crazy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they definitely have to hit them, but I'm open-minded enough to kind of look at this and go, I can see a path there. And I'm willing to, to kind of watch it along the way and work with it along the way.
I asked a question this morning. I had no idea it was going to elicit such an angry response on the finance show. I thought everything was going to calm down. This MicroStrategy thing has really jacked a lot of people up, dude.
People are, yeah.
I think when I see this kind of reaction, it's the Bitcoin reaction on steroids, right? Of a year or two ago, coming from miners and maxis and financial guys. They're like, hey, I think they're saying, I don't understand this. They're getting angry, but I think their response is, dude, I don't think you guys understand this. I don't see anyone getting hurt here. Like I immediately go into these Ponzi schemes as they're being described. I did not see this as a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, who's losing money? Chris, the only entity that gets in bed with MicroStrategy that loses money is someone that's not long Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think I don't see anyone getting hurt.
Yeah.
The exchanges are winning. Bitcoin's winning. The shareholders are winning. They're not getting diluted. They're getting more value for their stock. This is the Bitcoin protocol. Value is more important than the numbers of shares you have.
Yeah. But people, we have to look at this and we go, okay, well, this is kind of crazy that people would be acting this way, right? But when you think about it, you go, okay, well, there's likely, 2 real possible explanations. That one is they wanted to get in, or maybe they look back now and they missed their opportunity to get in really low, right? So Peter Schiff did an interview where he talked about, man, I wish I had gotten in Bitcoin, years ago when I could have bought in big, could have potentially been a Bitcoin billionaire now. And you look at, I know some of the stuff he posts online is really engagement, trying to get engagement farming going, but some of it, you look at it and you go, yeah, I'll bet you there's something in it, and going, God dang it. And that's going to keep eating at you, and you can't, for the life of you, no matter how many times somebody explains it to you or why you should be in or that you should be in, you're stuck on that. I should have gotten in back then and I didn't do it. So you look at these TradFi bros and whatnot today that are really upset about the MicroStrategy thing. I can't see how this keeps working. I can't see how can you keep doing this. What it is most of them are so blinded because of, again, potentially missing the opportunity to get it, or just that they're so blinded by this can't work that even if you were to explain it to them, there's a disconnect in their head. They won't be able to make that connection and go, oh, most of them. And they'll just be angry, and they'll continue to get more and more angry as it goes up higher. Now, MicroStrategy locally, here's the thing. I sold yesterday. So I had that $125 position. It hit my target that I've been talking about for a while here at 521.50. Now I watched.
Did you just have the underlying, or did you have some options?
No, just the underlying. Just the underlying. Should have gone options, but I didn't. It is what it is. It's okay. I'm good. I'm good.
It's not going to be. You're going to be able to put that trade on 10 times, buddy.
Yeah. But I looked at it, and what I told people yesterday was, listen, this doesn't mean it's necessarily the top. It's just, listen, I'm up 4 or 5x here in like 2 months. It's time to take some profit. So overnight, it pulled back in 3 waves. It pulled back in 3 waves. And this is a sign of a correction. So, and we've got a big rally this morning. We were in a low yesterday at 371.84. We're currently at 449.75. If we break out above 487.93, that suggests that we're going to go up higher, at least one more push here locally. Based on the height of that pullback, that gives us a 687 target. So, I mean, there's the chance right there to potentially jump in on that. Oh, your volume's still off.
If he wakes up Monday morning and tells us he bought $4 billion worth of Bitcoin over the weekend or more, there's this time lag now, right? We have this little weekend. I looked at a $500 put this morning.
You just looked at them?
2 years out, no. But I priced it. I'm like, I can sell, because someone wanted me to sell covered calls. I'm like, yeah, it's not really my strategy, but I got why somebody would do that. You buy a $100 MicroStrategy, you sell a $500 call option, you grab $250 worth of premium. You now have negative cost effectively. Yeah. But I love this construct of the refining. It's a refining play on Bitcoin, and he's the monopoly player, and he has no monopoly risk. If I can sell $500 puts 2 years out and collect $240 of premium, I bought MicroStrategy at $40 billion market valuation. Dude, I'm taking that, okay? I mean, I asked Danish this morning, Danish, you can invest in L'Oreal, a $185 billion cosmetics company, or you can invest in MicroStrategy. He picked L'Oreal. I'm like, whoa, dude, seriously? You're going to go broke, bro.
Again, you get to this point where people don't understand. They don't understand Bitcoin. They definitely, and if you don't understand Bitcoin, you sure as hell aren't going to understand what MicroStrategy is doing. The
reason I brought L'Oreal up was I'm like, you understand they sell a commodity, right?
Yeah.
That is it, with a label on it.
Yeah.
And if people don't put makeup on, no one's going to die in a hospital, right? I mean, I was shocked by the response, man.
Well, yeah, and we kind of talk about, me and Andrew and Tillman there on Wednesdays when Beards and Bitcoin, and we're really out there with what we talk about. We don't, sometimes it upsets people. We're all three of us have been in, for a while. We're big proponents of SPOC, of the self-custody. But the reality of it is, if you look through the history of finance and whatnot, is it from this point going forward, there's going to be a lot less people interested in that coming in, new people coming in. They're going to be interested in, they don't want to have to worry about their wallets and security and all of that, right? And then they're going to be incentivized by, BNY Mellon or something that's holding crypto to actually hold the crypto and be like, here's your yield product. Here's your loan product. You know, we can do that. And so it gets to the point as the future continues going on here where a lot of the new entrants into the market are not going to be interested in self-custody. But that's, you know, if we're looking for growth and expansion of the things we're looking for, that's a good thing, because the only way we're going to get the insurance products, the only way we're going to get the loan products, the only way we're going to get that is if you have a bank or somebody holding the Bitcoin.
Right.
I mean, I find it hard to believe that we're going to get any real traction with self-custody loans. I think there'll probably be some little person out there but you're going to pay a lot more for it.
No, dude. Nobody's going to loan you any money without you surrendering your wallet. It's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. You're not going to get a loan. Like, I'm not loaning you any money and you're keeping your wallet and then die or give it to your wife. Come on. That's ridiculous. You guys don't understand anything about finance. I mean, when I hear that shit, it's like, oh my God. Chris, prediction for the weekend, then I got to bounce. And the gentleman that's in the room, I cannot bring you up because I'm going to be late for another call. So apologies. I'm not trying to offend you. Weekend movement, man. We're going to see some volatility.
I think it's setting up for a good possibility, honestly. It looks pretty good here. We're bouncing. The CME futures hit $100,005 early this morning, about 1:30 my time. So spot hasn't hit it yet, but I think it's a harbinger of things to come. I think there's a good chance we see some volatility this weekend.
What's your upper end for the weekend on Bitcoin and your lower end for the Bitcoin? Just give me a little spread. We're not going to hold you responsible. Friday guess between good off.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some targets here. We put in a trade earlier today. I've got some targets. My third target is 104,364. So potentially we could see that depending on how volatile it gets. If we instead kind of get rejected around that 101,000 area, this is a hard one. I think if we get rejected around 100,000, I think we could see a move down toward 90,000 or maybe even 80,000, and then a bounce. I don't know that it would happen this weekend though. But you know, again, we're talking about bigger movements because we're talking about bigger price. From 100,000, you're only 10% to get to 90,000. Yeah. So, you know, I could see a move 95 or 90,000 on a rejection at 100.
I mean, look at this, dude. MicroStrategy. I mean, they were literally going, "Oh, it was down 16% yesterday." I'm like, bro, that's 8 hours. I mean, like, big deal. It's up 42%, 10 days. It's recovered every penny. Yep. Look at this right now. It's recovered every penny. If you were bearish yesterday and this morning about it going down 16, how can you not get bullish? Right this second go, wow, what just happened? Erased it all. That's just liquidity issues, man.
Yep. Yeah. It's recency bias, you know. And then, of course, most people are online with social media and whatever, so they get bombarded by, let's face it, social media really pushes the negative stuff more than the positive stuff because it gets more interaction. So most people, when you're online, you don't realize that you're getting fed all the negative stuff. And so that kind of affects your emotional point on there, and you become kind of, and it's just this huge kind of just, you know, continued thing. It's a little rolling ball down the hill kind of thing.
Yeah, most certainly. Well, listen, happy birthday. I understand it was your 50th birthday last week. Happy birthday. You guys follow this cat, okay? He's a good guy. He's smart, doesn't get out over his skis. He's probably more conservative than I am, which is it's good for me to hang out with more conservative people because I can get carried away. Chris, thank you very much, buddy.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Hey guys, make sure you follow Chris. He's an awesome guy. Jason, I'm gonna burn up 1 minute of my next call just to do one thing, and that is if you don't have a video, that's cool. But I just wanted to bring you up and say thank you for hanging out in the back room. I actually have to jump. I've got 5 minutes to get prepared, but appreciate you being here, Jason. And next time I'm in this room, if you could stick a video on, introduce yourself. Would love to get to know you, man. Appreciate you being here. If you want to say something real quick, awesome. If not, we'll do it next time. Greg Griziak threw out $50 to me. Thanks for making me buy Bitcoin at 39, starting the super chat train. Good job, Greg. I remember meeting you. What were you talking about doing? I think you were talking about either buying a house or a car. And I was like, bruh, pick up 39 grand. It's the cheapest damn franchise you're going to ever buy. This is most certainly going to be a unique run, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not on this trade, you should be absolutely a spectator. And I would encourage you not to be a spectator. This is once in a lifetime event for me. And I've had 5 of these. I've literally had 5 of these events. This is the monster. This is the holy grail of disruptive opportunities that I have been looking for my whole life, man. I feel like I'm so prepared for this. It's just stupid. Anyway, you guys do really well. 1 job for 3,091 people. Well, 2 jobs. 1, 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning, I hold something called Church with Cardone. I'm not trying to minimize church. It's the only way for me to talk about church. I invited about 7,000 people last night to the room, and he was like, "Oh, we're going to talk about Bitcoin?" Most certainly not. On Sundays, we don't talk about Bitcoin. We don't talk about money. We talk about being real wealth, okay? Like who am I as a human being, and what the hell am I doing here? And how can I make a monster impact on the planet? 3,000 plus people were in this church last Sunday. I've held this 3 times now. I will continue to hold this till I die if 3,000 plus people show up, because it's telling me, hey, people are dying to commune together. And I like all of this technology's come together. I am most certainly going to stick my nose in it and attempt to help. So I love the idea of being able to like have a space on Sundays where we can talk philosophy and maybe study the Bible or study constructs. I mean, I think we have a lot of stuff to study before we start getting into the Bible, but which I know very little about, quite frankly. I'm most certainly not an educated theologist. So, hey, listen, you guys now have to be super nice. Okay, you're going to show up Sunday at 10:30. Bring your family. Email your ex-wife. Email your dad. Have them show up, okay? It's a safe place. I'm not going to grossly offend too many people, and I keep my language down on Sundays. And then also, more importantly, you have to go do something nice for somebody today, and you cannot take credit for it. You can't tell me, can't tell anybody. Stick it away in your little magic. In fact, write it down and then stick it in a little box next to your bed, a box that you cannot open. Oh, that'll be the trick we do Sunday. I have a perfect topic, okay? How to manifest. I have a trick. All right, guys, I got to run. See you later. I have 1 minute to meet with a family office, so let's see if I can switch gears real quick. Thank you.